Hi, Danielle with Scrapbook Maven. Today's video I will show you how I made the Marion Smith romance novel chapter 2 mini album I shared with you using the scrap kit available at scrapbookmaven.com. So for the mini album, the only thing that I didn't use that wasn't in the kit was I've used some of these rhinestones for these tabs for my pages. And I got these tabs using this Tim Holtz alterations die. I've used this little tab die here, and I've used this one here for the turns, the page turns. I'm not sure what they're called. So I used that. And then for the decorative edge, I used this Tim Holtz alterations on the edge die. I forgot to mention I did use, I'm using walnut stain distress ink to ink all the edges. Of course, some brads for the little turny-doos. So for the mini album, I did use the interactive pocket page tutorial. I also am using the cover that I made in the binding and cover tutorial. With that said, I will get started making it so you guys can see step by step what I did if you want to recreate it using the scrap kit. I pre-cut a lot of it just to make this go a little faster so you're not bored to tears. And so I will finish gluing everything down. So I've used this beautiful paper for this first page, and on the back side is this. So I've already started gluing it down, and I will finish. Ooh. Never heard glue squeak before. And I always like to use my bone folder to make sure all the glue gets to all the edges. And I like wet adhesive. I know a lot of you guys use those tape runners, but I like to use the wet adhesive because I feel like it makes the page even more sturdy. It seems floppy when I use the tape runner. That's my personal preference. So for, on this flap, I have used the back side of this paper for this, and I've already started to glue it down for when I showed you it in the tutorial for the pocket page. I couldn't glue it all the way down because I wasn't sure how I was going to do it. I thought I was going to use magnets to create this album, but they were taking too long to come in the mail, so that's why I'm using these little whirligigs. And I'm using the same paper for up here. Sometimes I feel bad that they're double-sided papers because I just love this print so much that I feel bad that I'm putting glue on it, and I'm going to cover it all up. Okay, so that's the first little flap. So for my little swing tab, I think I'm going to use this pattern paper. And then glue it to one of my swing tabs. And I've put distress ink on the edges of that also. I'm debating whether I want to put pattern paper on the back side because I don't know if you're really going to see it. I don't know how anal I'm going to get. Okay, so I almost forgot to put my little tab, so I used the Tim Holtz die for this little tab that I'm going to insert right here for my little flap. So it opens with a little flap, and it's really hard to see because it's all black. So I will use my wet glue, and I think I'll put it kind of in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to also have to cut a little hole, punch a hole right about there, and I have this monster big bite. And I want to line it up perfectly. And what I probably should have done is I should have cut this flap a little shorter so that I would have more room to put my swing tab. If it would have been magnets like I had originally thought I was going to do, it would have been fine. So I've already glued this down, so I'm not going to be cutting it. So I will just have to make the best of it. And then maybe have it right there. Nice. Okay. And I will cut a hole right there. I have a little eyelet, not eyelet, brad. I'm placing there. So swing it up like that, put that down, and that'll hopefully go over my page like that. Okay, so that's that, and then I use my little tab to lift this one over, and then we need to put our paper here, and I have a bunch of that temporary adhesive that I did to show you guys in my tutorial. So I pre-cut the paper like I said. I'm going to have this beautiful, this I think is one of my favorite papers of the collection, alongside this rose one. So I'm going to put it like this. And what I've done is I've cut some of this paper out, just a little strip, and then I've gone along the little chevron kind of design, and I have just glued 3 sides, this side, the bottom, and the other side, to create a little pocket. So now I'm just going to glue those down. And our little ends to our brad will get covered up with this design paper. And then this over here. I like when it seeps out the edges. I feel like I'm getting a nice seal on my pages. So I don't mind when it comes out the sides. I kind of encourage it. Okay, so then we have that. And then I've already glued this back page on. So I have this first page done. We have our little swing tab for our first flap, and then a little tab for our second flap. We have our little pocket here. And then on the back side we have our big pocket. And so now let's move on to our next page. And if I didn't mention it already, this is just like the Airy Tale page, except instead of having it like this, having the interactive stuff on the back like I had on the Airy album, I flipped it and rotated it. So it's the same page and totally different look, at least I think so. And so for the next page, I've taken the Airy Tale mini album second page and I've done the same thing. I've turned it and flipped it. So now that we have a flap here and then a flap here. And then we flip it over and we have our pocket on the back side, our large pocket on the back. So I'm going to start attaching the papers that I've chosen. So for this first one, I like to coordinate it. So when I flip this page over, I'm going to have these beautiful flowers here with a dark black typewriter. And so for the next page front is going to be the these flowers in the smaller arrangement with the polka dot pink background and the script in the back. So that's going to be my next page here, and I've already inked all the edges with walnut stain. It would be a lot quicker if I used the tape runner, but I just don't like it. I like the sturdiness that the glue provides, and I like to be able to just like rotate it just a little bit, just enough to get it exactly how I want it. Perfect. And then we flip it out and then out again. And so for these pages, I've picked out this really pretty script paper that has the little hearts on it. I thought it was super, super cute. So I'm going to have it like that on that side. And then I've already pre-cut it with the decorative edge. And on this page, I used my corner chomper. I think it's the scallop or the cloud punch side of the corner chomper. So we're going to have it like this. And then I have this piece of paper to match that flap. And I'm going to put it here, and I don't need to have it totally and these pages I have just cut. I don't have exact measurements. I just see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, I cut off a little bit more. I'm very imprecise like that. And so I have this page that doesn't go all the way down because I used one of the cutouts from the paper. I mounted it on some black cardstock, and I'm going to use that as a pocket. So I'll just attach that one first. And then for this page, I'm just going to glue 3 sides. So it'll look just like that. I got a little squiggly down there. And that'll go at the bottom here. Make sure there's no glue seeping out that will interfere with our pocket. Perfect. So now we have a little pocket there. and a perfect spot for journaling, which I probably already said in the video. I'll try and speed this up a bit. I don't have an editing program that I can do this in super speed, so I apologize if this is getting a little tedious. Okay, and so for this page here, we're going to use this paper, and you can't really see it, but there's the script. It's the other side of this paper. So we need attach our little swing tab right here. So I'm going to need to cut a hole in this paper because I forgot to do it before I attach this paper. So let me figure out where I'm going to have my paper. And I want my swing tab right about there. Okay. Put my little brad in. Okay, and then we'll just add our glue. Perfect. And let's use our little swing tab. Ooh, so cute. It's a nice little change to magnets if you don't have magnets or you run out of magnets and you have this little pull tab. Okay, so that's that page. You have our little flaps, little pocket. And the extra embellishments I always do at the end. I like to get my base pages down first. So we'll flip it over, and I'm going to use this paper right here. Let's open it up a second, see if we can get a little flatter. Perfect. So we have that page, and so when we flip it, we have this. And so we have our third page. It's just like our first page, just turned and flipped, rotated and flipped, so that we have our interactive on the front, our pocket in the back. And so we have this page here. I'm going to use this paper here for, so it's matchy-matchy. I like it to coordinate, have some kind of cohesive pattern going with the mini album, so it's not just a bunch of pattern paper here and there. So we'll attach, we'll flip it up, and we're going to have our little swing tab here, and the paper that we're going to use on the inside, we're going to use this paper here, and I probably should be showing you the whole pages so you can see where I'm getting it from. I've just cut up a bunch of the paper. So this page came from this page here, this top portion here, and the back side is this page here. So we're going to glue that one down there, and then on the top I am going to have a little pocket again with that beautiful paper that I like. I've made sure to use this paper throughout the mini album on each page. Just a continuing theme in the album. Okay, so I'm gonna have the pocket, and then what I've done is that I've taken this piece of paper like that, and I've just cut where I thought would be a nice spot to have a pocket. So I've cut it like this along the little zigzag. I've backed the pocket onto some black cardstock. And so we're going to attach it like this. I did the corner chomper on there because I have it on this one. And so I need to, what I can do is attach it like that, or before I do that, I'm going to get my swing tab. So I got to figure out which one goes nicely. Have that closed like that. I have that paper back there. That one goes really nice. Do I want Paris? I cut out a bunch of swing tab. I did it first out of chipboard, and then I did some pattern paper, and so I'll put the pattern paper on the chipboard. That's how I made my swing tabs. So I'm just trying to figure out, I did a bunch of them to see what I like. If I glue this down first, and then I'll have it go through the cardstock too. That way it'll be a little stronger. Okay, so for the inside I have this paper, and I've cut out the little bicycle. So I just used this paper and cut out the piece that has this at the bottom. This is what the back looks like. And so we're just going to glue it on like that. And so this will get glued on here, so you won't see this cut out. So let's glue it. This paper reminds me of the garment district, which is my favorite collection before this one came out. Okay, and so for this little bicycle, we're just going to glue it just a little bit in the corner here. So these two sides. You can put up something behind it. So we have that. And then for our back side, we're going to use this paper, which is the back side of one of these cutout pages. And I just remembered that I forgot to add my tab. So get this down real quick. This little tabby guy I forgot to add. So if you get it soon enough, you can wiggle your way through. So let's put some glue. So you're seeing all my little mistakes that hopefully you don't notice when I show the mini album in its finished state. And so we have our third page done. So for our next page, I've done the little flaps, same as our last page on the Erie album, except I've used, of course, the decorative edge as opposed to the punch. And so in order to match that, I've gone ahead and cut out this paper, just like the back side of our first page. The background matches nicely with that paper, I thought. Okay, and so then we'll flip it up. This one, like I said, I've used this one throughout the mini album. Okay, for the next page, I've chosen this one, and it's the back of one of the cut-aparts. So I feel bad about cutting it, but I really like this paper, so we're just gonna and then we'll flip it up. I'm going to use this right here. And so for this bottom piece, I'm going to be using this black script paper, which is the opposite side of this paper. I'm going to put it there, and to cover that up, I'm going to create a pocket. So this piece right here, how we had it shortened, because we're going to make a pocket out of it, that piece I saved, and I have used it for this. I backed it on some cardstock, and I'm just going to use it as a small little pocket down here. Okay, and so we're just going to attach our pocket. But before I do that, I want to attach my little swivel clasp. And there's my little brad. So I have to figure out where exactly I'm going to have it. And I don't know if I want it here in the corner or over here. I think I'll do better in the corner. So I need to mark it. And then I will do a cut or a little punch a hole. Okay, and then just put your pocket down. Okay, so let's try it out. Perfect. If you want, you could probably add another one on this side, but I think I'm just going to leave it like that. And on the back side, I have created another pocket using this paper again. And the back side of this typewriter and big floral paper, this is the script on the back I'm going to use. So this piece was cut short, obviously, because I must have cut it off of there. And so we're going to have a pocket just like this. And I didn't bother backing this with cardstock because it'll be a nice big photo pocket without cardstock. Now we're going to put this piece right over the top, just putting glue on 3 of the sides and the bottom. Okay, so those are our pages. I want to add some magnets so it stays closed a little better. And so for these two, for this page and our third page, I'm going to add some magnets. So I got my X-Acto knife and I got my magnets, and I'm going to try and add some magnets to this. What I tend to do when I forget, which is too many times. Use my X-Acto knife, stick it in there, make a little pocket, take my magnets, and I got these magnets off of eBay, and I will just stick some glue in there, squeeze some in there, and stuff this little guy in there. And these are really strong magnets, so I could have put it on the back side here, but it'll work just fine here. And then, so our magnet is right there, and we're going to need another magnet right here. So we're going to have to dig even deeper on this one. Nothing a little glue won't fix. This is why I can't be a perfectionist. And stick that guy in there. Right there. Right there. We're going to do a little surgery there. Okay, that one's in. And we need to bring it all the way to here. Okay. We'll stick this guy as far back as we can. I like to stick to my X-Acto knife. Seems to line up. So we'll stick some glue in there. There, and you can't even tell that we forgot. We have our 4 pages, and then we'll just attach them into our cover, and then from there we can just finish decorating. So I already have score tape on the first one like I showed you, and here is our first page. So we're just going to take the score tape backing off. And so I'm going to bring it up so it butts up against this edge. And just press it so it sticks. And we have our first page in. And then we'll get our score tape and do the next one. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to just do one score. I'm just going to take off the backing of one of them and get it lined up exactly how I want it to be. Okay, and then I will take off this other side. Okay, and then just stick that side on. And we'll just continue that for each of the pages. Since this is 3/8 of an inch, I'm going from the top down, so there's a slight gap at the bottom. I don't know if that makes sense. Let's see if I can show you. You don't want it all the way to the top, but you don't want it all the way at the bottom towards the spine. In order to have your pages turn a little easier, you don't want your pages butting up against the spine, so you have it just slightly above, if that makes sense. So take off your score tape. Have our next page open like this. Get it lined up how we want it. And then take the score tape off of this opposite side. And here's our last page. See, it comes in handy being able to open up your pocket really wide so you can get that score tape out and get it lined up perfectly. Kind of hard to do it when it's an envelope. And so there we go. We have all our pages in our little book. And so now we just get to do the fun part of embellishing and doing our covers. Okay, so now I'm going to make my photo mats for inside my pockets. And I've decided instead of just doing just the regular one-sided photo mats, I do what I did in my 'Twas the Night Before Christmas mini album, and I do like a little booklet. So I figure I'm going to have my booklets, once folded, be 5 3/4 long and then 5 1/2 wide. So I'm going to cut this piece of paper to 11 1/2. And then 5 1/2. That's one tag, and then another 5 1/2. And so I'm going to need 2 more of these, so I'll do it again. Okay, so now I have my 4 pieces of paper that measure 11 1/2 by 5 1/2, and so I'm just gonna score it down the middle at 5 3/4 to get my inserts to be the right size for my pockets. So 5 3/4. Okay, and now I'm just gonna fold them in half. You remember, you always want to fold, where if you've scored on this side, you're going to want to fold like this. So the side with the scored dent is on the outside. And so we have our 4 inserts, and I'm going to insert it with this side up. It's easier to insert it into the pocket with the folded side down. And then I'll have this little tag from the paper. I cut them all out, the 4 that I wanted. This one says notes, and I'm just going to attach it to one of the sides like that. And I'm going to get my corner punch right now, and I'm going to punch these corners. I'm going to use my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper, and I'm going to use the scallop side for all my corners. I think it kind of matches the ornate edge that I have on my pages. So it looks like that. I'm just going to do it to all my inserts now. Okay, and so now I just need to find some pattern paper, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the inside be for my photos, and so I'm just going to leave those blank for now, and I'm just going to add some cream paper to the back side for journaling, and then I'll have some beautiful pattern paper on the front. And so for my first insert, I thought I'd use this piece with the typewriter. I love that typewriter, and it's nice and busy, so you won't feel like you have to decorate it since it's going into the pocket, and you can't have anything bulky anyways, so that gives it some nice interest. And I've cut these all my pieces to, since this is 5 3/4 by 5 1/2, I've cut the design paper to 5 1/2 by 5 1/4. So there's a nice border. Cream cardstock for the back side, because like I said, this is going to be a booklet, so my photos will be protected on the inside from all the friction of in and out of the pocket, and I thought I'd have a nice journaling spot on the back. And so what I've done is I've stamped all of my journaling sheets to give it some interest, and I've used the stamp set from Prima that was for the original romance novel collection. So I had that on hand, so I thought, how perfect, and I used it, and so that's what my journaling pages will look like. And so I'll just use this one. And before I forget, I will want to add one of my tabs. And this says notes. I don't know if I want to be that matchy-matchy, but whatever. I've already got the glue. Drawing. So it's going to go in the middle. And what I like to do, let me just glue this down as much as possible. Here. I want to line it up pretty well with the page that it's going to go in, so I think I'll put it in this page right here. So I'll just tuck it into the pocket, and I want to line it up. Oops. And I'm going to be off camera for a little bit probably, because I just want to get this in properly. So what I did was I just put it underneath the cardstock and right here. So I just tucked it into the envelope really quickly, just so that I can make sure that once I put it in to my pocket page, that it will line up nicely with the cutout that I've put on. And I'm actually, once I insert it, it's going to actually have the nice design paper facing out. So it's going to look like that. So I'm just going to continue doing it for my other pages. My last tag, and so I'm just going to glue down my tab. And then glue down my journaling spot. Okay, so these are my tags. It opens up like that with a journaling spot on the back and a little tab to pull it out with. Here's this one. And then this one. And I've used the tabs from the collection. This one says family, notes, journey, and love. So those will be my inserts. And then now we'll get to decorating. So for this first page, I've cut out this piece here from the long tag. I just cut off the little place here where it had a perforated looking line, and I just backed it on some cardstock, and I thought I'd just glue it here. So what I'm going to do is glue it on 3 sides. So on the back side, I'll glue it on this side, the back side, and down here, and have it as a little pocket. And for in the pocket, I have cut out this little telegram cutout, backed it on some cardstock, and used one of the little tags to pull it out, or the tabs, excuse me. And it's just going to fit in, hopefully nicely, right there. It'll be a bit snug since I did cut it I did cut this this down a little bit on the sides to try and fit in here. It's still a bit snug, so I'll probably have to glue it again. And then from this paper here, I glued out the hot air balloon, which I thought would look kind of cute up there. Okay, so that's that page. And for this one, I thought it's such beautiful paper. I want to be able to leave room enough for a photo. So I thought I'd just add a little floral embellishment. I have one of the flowers here from the kit. And I'll add some of these little pieces. And I got this from the vine. I just cut the vine into little pieces to get a little rosebud and this yellow flower here. So I'm going to do that, and then this is a little cutout from the paper also. It's a little stamp that I thought I would add below it, and then I have a little swirl. And what I'm going to do with this swirl is I'm going to get my scissors and I'm just going to cut around the swirl, because just in case I have my photo that wants to tuck up underneath it, I'm just going to leave some of the backing on this swirl right here, so that once I get my photo in, then I can take it off. So I'm just going to quickly cut around. Okay, so I just need to arrange it how I want it. I thought it would look really cute like that. And what the vine part, I curled it. I used a little paintbrush that I have. It's really small, so I just used that and just curled the vine around it like this. So I just grabbed it and just twisted it around so I could get a nice little curly Q, which I thought was really cute. Mine's a little on the small side right here. So I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take off some of the backing where I want it to stick for sure. Kind of like that. You just gotta fiddle with it and play with it and see what you kind of like. Kind of like that. So I'm just gonna glue that stamp down. And then this little flower. So as you can see here, if I use a little piece of paper, that because of the backing I can still stick a photo behind there, and then once I stick the photo down I can just peel off the backing of my swirl and stick it onto my photo. So I have a cute little embellishment cluster right here, and then once it dries then I can fluff up my flower a little bit more. Just want to make sure it sticks down really good. And what I thought I'd do for these little tabs here for these magnetic flaps, I thought I'd use the rest of the mechanical typeset numbers, and I thought it'd look cute to add it to the tab. So I'm still thinking about that. I'm probably going to do that last, because it's going to need to dry really well. So, but that's what I'm thinking of doing there. And then I'm not going to do anything on the inside of this flap here because I want it to lay flat with the photos in there. And then for this page I just inserted one of the cutouts from the paper into my little pocket. I'm going to leave it plain because it closes flat also. For these pages, it's a very busy paper, so you don't really need to do much, but I have these cutouts already from the paper that I've already cut and inked with the walnut stain, so I thought I'd just add it maybe like that, and I'll glue just these sides, and that way I can still tuck something underneath if I want. And I'll do it at a slight angle. And then this. I'll just do it so there's a slight curve in it, just to give it some sort of dimension. I don't know if you can see that. So it's got a little bit of a curve in it. So that's for that one. And then on this side, there'll be enough room for a photo here, but because of this swivel clasp, you don't want to put too much going on. So I thought I'd just do a small little floral embellishment here. So I'll just do the same as I did on this other page. This time I'll use a white flower to contrast with the dark paper. And then I have this little cutout from the paper with a little balloon. I thought that was nice. It ties it in with the previous page. So we'll have it like this, I think, and then of course we'll use another swirl. So I'm just going to figure out what I'm going to do. From the little vine, I cut off this piece, the little pink pearls. Let's see, and I might want to cut off some more bits of the vine. Cut that a little smaller. Yeah, I think I want a few more flowers. Maybe two of these pink ones would look pretty. Then you have this vine, and you can still use the vine for some added greenery, which I kind of like the idea. Let me see how these flowers look. So I just need to glue it down. That looks cute. I could probably take the backing of this part of the swirl. But I'll leave it on there so that way I can still tuck a photo under there if I want. Okay, so that's that, and then I won't do anything much to the inside here. And then we'll go on to the next page. And so here I kind of want to mimic something over here. So I cut out this piece from this paper. So it was right there. And I'll have that in the corner. I'll have my little swirl, and I'll do a couple flowers, and then I'll add some of the vine pieces on too. And a little bud right there. Just need to have that dry for a little bit. So there, and then I can still fit a photo back there. And for this next page, like I said, it's nice and busy, so you don't really need to do much. And then I'm going to leave the insides pretty flat. And then for this page here, I have cut this part out from this little tag piece. I just cut this out and I backed it on some black cardstock. And so I'm just going to attach it here, and I cut this out from the paper, and I'm just going to have it as my tag. I thought it coordinated well with the opposing paper, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. So I have this glued down, like a little pocket for my tag. And then what I forgot to do was where this flips, it's your second waterfall flap. There's a big space here. And so I cut off a little sliver of paper to match this pocket here, and I'm just going to attach it here. There. So it has a little bit of excuse me, cohesiveness because it's all floral, and this matches that down there. And so this is going to be left pretty plain because it's a very busy pattern. And then we have our last pages here, and I'm going to use these things. I'm going to use leave this plain. I'll be able to put a nice large photo behind my pocket, and it's a nice busy pattern, doesn't need any embellishment. And for this back page, I thought I would use one of these cutouts, and it's the other side to this cutout right here. It was like this, and I just cut it right here. I've backed it on some cardstock, and inside is a little pocket, and I've used this cutout for my journaling tag. Now what I'm going to do is I made this into a little envelope, as you can see, with black cardstock, and so for this I'm just going to glue it on 3 sides, and so when I attach it here, this will also be a pocket. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to go a little lower in case we have some bigger tags. And this cutout here I did cut down because it is pretty large, and so I cut it down just a little bit so that I can still see a border of my inside cover pattern paper. And then here we have a little pocket here, and then we have our pocket for our tag, and I just backed that on cardstock and used one of those tab dies from the Tim Holtz die that I used for these pages also. And so I did cut this one down. It was a little long, so I did cut down just maybe 1/2 inch off of that so it could fit nicely. And it's a very snug fit. I would have done it just a little bit bigger had I known it would be so snug, but it fits just fine. And I am going to decorate this. This is part of the cutouts of the paper. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was attached to that. So I have my little heart, and I have one extra flower from my stash. It matches the flowers. It matches the other flowers and the rest of the kit. So I have that, and I have some more swirls and more of my vine pieces that I've cut into pieces. And so I'm just going to make a little floral arrangement with that, and I may or may not add a little cutout behind it. I like some interest behind. Swirl right about here, and it'll be enough room for some extra journaling or maybe a small little photo. And I'll have my heart probably up there. There. And we just need to add our little heart, kind of like a postage stamp, onto that side. And I do have some glimmer mist, and it'd be a really cool idea to glimmer mist some of these white flowers and maybe do it a little bit of a aqua color. But I'm just going to go with the pink and white. And that would be our last page. And so now we're just going to work on our cover and decorate that. And so for the front cover, I've decided to use this paper again, just like the inside page. I think it's just beautiful. And it just gives, it already does half the work for you. So I'm just going to glue that down. This gold embossed paper, it's more like vinyl, or I don't know. Anyways, I painted it black, and then because it was gold, I just used a wet paper towel, and I just used it and wiped it a little bit so that you can see some of the gold come through, so it looks very aged and vintage. And then I used the edge die that I've used throughout the album and did it to both sides so that it can wrap around the spine like that. So that's what I plan to do. Let me get the paper on the back. And for the back, see, after that I still have a lot of swirls left. I can add it throughout the album again. I've just used this paper for the back, and I've already inked all the edges, so it's part of the cutouts. And so I'll just add it right now. And with the charms that come with the kit, I have attached them to one of these Tim Holtz, I'm not sure what they're called. I've attached it to them using some of the jump rings I had on hand. And I've added this cameo piece that I had in my stash. I actually got it from the dollar store. It was an earring. So I just took one of the earrings and I took the earring part off, and I've attached it to my charms. I thought it would really nicely with the theme of papers, and so I've added that all, and I'm going to add it to my spine as a little charm embellishment. So I'm going to attach my embossed piece right now, and then I'll punch the hole to add my charm set. So let's, hopefully this glue will stick. I think that looks really nice. That's the back. And then we have the front here. And then from the kit, I still have this large flower. I still have some of the vine left over. And some of the flowers here. And you just want to give it some dimension, fold it up a little bit. So let's see. And then you just play with it and see how you want to do it. Let's see, I have this memory cut out from the paper, so I'm just going to add that too. Have it come across my telegram right there. And then I have this little piece right here that's in the paper. I thought that makes a nice line for these little type numbers, and then I'll put 2015 ready for pictures for next year, especially Valentine's coming up. So I'll have it like that. I'll glue it like that. I'll have something kind of like that, and then of course I'm going to punch the hole for my charms. So it's going to go right in the middle, so it'd be right in the middle of the pages right here, and I'll just do a little hole, and I have an eyelet on hand that I'll just add to that and use my big bite, and then I can just thread this through. And so in my final video you'll see it all completed. But that's my mini album using the Marion Smith romance novel kit, available at Scrapbook Maven. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you again real soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.